Oranges and olive oils, it's not always the first thing you think about when putting the cake together, but this Portuguese orange and extra virgin olive oil cake is absolutely delicious. Very simple to make, so we'll get started so you can see how easy this is. First thing, of course, is just to have everything in place. I've already zested the oranges. You want to be sure when you're zesting oranges not to get into the pithy white part of the orange. That's bitter. Just get the outside area of the orange. I measured out my flour, measured out my oil, measured out my sugar. First thing we'll do is I'll mix the flour. You want to use baking powder. Baking powder and baking soda are not interchangeable. So we're going to put 1.5 teaspoons of baking powder. And you want to stir that up fairly well just for even distribution. Next, we will juice the oranges. Check out all my recipes on the playlist on my YouTube channel, or you could go to my webpage, justcookwithmichael.com. For this application, you want to use the paddle, this flat shape. You can do this with a whisk by hand, so don't ever feel like you have to go out and get equipment. For hundreds of years, people have been baking cakes without KitchenAids. First thing we'll do is we're going to combine the eggs. We're going to put 5 cracked eggs in here. Okay, now we're gonna blend these eggs for just about a minute on low speed. You just wanna make sure they're evenly incorporated. The yolk and the egg white is mixed well together. I have more desserts, Pastilhas de nata. If you wanna see that, the classic Portuguese dessert, you'll find on the webpage. Okay, you see that's been going for about a minute, and you can see the eggs are very well incorporated. Now we're gonna combine the sugar into the mixture. You slowly add in your sugar, and then you want to blend it at a low to medium speed for about 2 to 3 minutes. See, it's been going for about a minute, and it's already getting a nice pale yellow color. That's what you want. Whoa, and that's what you're looking for. So just a nice pale, fluffy color. Now I'll put in the orange zest. I put in 1 teaspoon of almond extract. Next, I'll add in the 1.5 cups of orange juice. Damn, that smells so good. Just fresh citrus. I get the little hint of almond in there. Wow. Okay, now we alternate between olive oil and flour. So I'll put in about maybe, I don't know, 3 teaspoons at a time of this Portuguese extra virgin olive oil. You could use any extra virgin olive oil if you can't find this. And the key to cakes and like cookies, unlike bread recipes, you do not want to develop gluten. So bread, the more you work, flour, wheat flour has gluten. The more you work it, the tougher the gluten becomes. You do not want that. So it's the opposite. You don't want this agitating and kneading the bread and creating a lot of gluten. So as soon as everything's incorporated, you stop. You don't want to overmix. So I put in probably like a 1/2 cup. Put in a little extra virgin olive oil. Put in some more flour. You want to make sure you scrape any excess flour off the sides. Preheated my oven to 350, so you want to make sure this cake goes in a hot oven. One of the advantages to this cake is that olive oil is 100% good monounsaturated fat, where butter is about 80% fat, 20% water. You'll see this cake is just really moist and does not lose its moisture, and that is because it's a bread made with oil instead of butter. Okay, and I have a cake pan. I like to use butter whenever I butter my pans. You could use a non-stick spray, and make sure you liberally coat the pan with butter because you don't want to have any problems after baking this cake getting it out. The last thing I did not mention, when I mixed the flour and baking soda together, at that time I also mixed the salt in there, so that way you get even distribution of the salt inside the recipe. Okay, our oven is preheated. You can see the bubbles here. That's the baking powder already having its effect. So that is why once you mix all your ingredients, you don't want to let it sit around, because that carbon dioxide will just go into the air. You definitely want to get that in sooner than later. So there you go. Smells incredible. I tend to always like to put cakes and stuff on another cookie sheet pan just for safety in case there's ever overflow, and also just even heating. Now we'll put this in the oven. Now you want to bake the cake for about an hour and a quarter. You could test it by either pricking a toothpick in there and if it comes out clean, or I like to use a thermometer, like a meat thermometer, and when the cake is around 200 degrees Fahrenheit, the cake is done. Okay, you can see that looks gorgeous. Again, pull it around 200 to 205 degrees. You want to let it cool for at least 30 minutes, preferably like an hour. Right now it's fragile. You know, if you try to flip it out, it might want to like not come out in one whole piece. So at least let it rest 30 minutes before attempting to take it out. Okay, we have our cake. It's been cooling for about 45 minutes. I'd really suggest trying to wait that long, definitely at least a half hour. I cut some parchment paper in a round little circle just to be able to make it easier to move if need be, if you think you're going to be transferring it around. So it's not a bad idea to just tap it on its side. You're basically helping it to release from the side. And there you can see that even after 40 minutes, it was probably still pulled out too soon. But that's okay. I'll show you. It's kind of a good experience, you know, don't panic. In cooking, things like this happen all the time. There's techniques to fix this problem. First thing I'll do is try to get this piece out in one whole chunk, which I did. Then we want to match it up just right. Just like that. That's where that belonged. Okay. Just like that alone, you know, it's virtually undetectable. There are two ways to decorate this cake. One, you could get powdered sugar with a spoon. You just put powdered sugar in here and you just tap it and go all the way around. So that's one super easy technique, is the powdered sugar. I'm going to show you how to make an icing for the top. A pretty simple icing, but delicious. You won't be able to tell that that little piece broke off once the icing or the powdered sugar is on there. So for the icing, I have 2 cups of powdered sugar. I have some hot orange juice here. I put the orange juice in the microwave for a little bit, but you can see it's at about 180 degrees Fahrenheit. So just under a boil. I'll put in about a tablespoon of extra virgin olive oil. And then I'm gonna start off with just putting a tablespoon of the hot orange juice. So just start kind of mixing that together. It's still not really coming together, and so I'll put another tablespoon. Now it's already coming together. You want to go slow with the orange juice because you want this to be fairly thick. You shouldn't be able to like pour it. So this is a little too thick. It's probably like almost a consistency of firm butter now. So definitely I'm going to put about another teaspoon. This is looking pretty good. But you can see how that is, you know, definitely thicker than mayonnaise, and that's kind of what you want, where it still droops a little bit, but not horrible. And this icing, obviously, this is super easy. You know, you could have substituted the orange juice for 2.5 tablespoons of Grand Marnier or other flavorings if you're making another type of cake. This is just a plastic disposable bag, but you can even use like a quart size, or this is a gallon, and fill it up and then just cut the tip and it'll work the same way. Fill the pastry bag. You always want to stretch the pastry bag fully over your hand. Get the icing down to the tip. Oh, probably would help if I cut a hole. Cut about a 1/2 inch hole in there. Now I'm twisting from the top. You always squeeze from the top, and this is looking really thick now, but this will start to droop down. And as I come around the side a little more. Again, working my way to the side, trying to get every last drop of this deliciousness out. Don't want to waste it. I inherited my dad's sweet tooth. He grew up in Madeira, and he would tell me stories of basically just gnawing on sugar cane. That was their candy back then. See how it's already starting to kind of come down? And this cake is slightly warm. You know, you probably don't want to, it's kind of a delicate, this is the art of cooking, you know, that this glaze, you know, if it was colder, you might want it a little softer, maybe like more the consistency of mayonnaise. That way it would run, and if the cake's warmer like it is now, it was fine for it to be as firm as it was. You see, that just looks gorgeous, that little droop down the sides. You can't tell we made the mistake anymore. Well, I should say you can't tell I made the mistake anymore of probably taking it out of the pan. I probably should have waited, you know, a full hour to let it cool off, or, you know, who knows, that's an old bundt pan, so maybe it's just a little rough. I could have put a little more butter on the bottom. That looks gorgeous. If you have like candied oranges, you could put those on there. You could sprinkle the top with some like sliced toasted almonds, would be really good. And that's it, that's not too hard. The glaze is probably the trickiest part, but you just could go with the sprinkled powdered sugar if you want to make it super easy. It's super moist and it stays moist for days. So this is a cake you could easily make like 3 days before you're going to a party or a family event. Make it in advance. It'll stay really moist because that extra virgin olive oil. I have more desserts from the Madeira Islands. Their traditional Christmas cake. I have bolo de mel. And I also have a recipe of flan that you'll find on the webpage and also in the description area of YouTube. Thanks for joining me. Now go cook for someone you love.